So today I want to sit down and talk about something that's been bothering a lot of people in the Honkai Star Rail community, and honestly, I've been thinking about it too. Where did all the 4-star characters go? It feels like forever since we've had a new one, and when I started digging into the numbers, the situation looks even stranger than I thought. Save up to 25% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description. The last time we actually got a brand new 4-star unit was Moe's back in version 2.5. That was over a year ago, a whole year and a week to be exact, from when people on forums pointed it out. Since then, Hoyoverse has been pushing out new 5-stars almost every patch, plus these new SP characters like March 7th in her hunt form, but they've completely skipped on expanding the 4-star roster. And the funny part? When Moe's was drip marketed, I remember seeing people say, "Oh, his design is way too cool for a 4-star." Almost like Hoyoverse listened to that feedback, threw up their hands, and decided, all right, then no more 4-stars for you. Obviously, that's sarcasm, but the timing makes it feel like that meme had some truth in it. Now, why does this matter? Well, 4-star characters have always been the backbone of free-to-play teams. Think back to when you first started. Natasha carried as a healer, Pela and Tingyun were must-haves, and later Gallagher came in and basically redefined what a sustain could do at the 4-star level. They're the characters you can usually push to Eidolon 6 over time, and in a lot of cases, that's where they start rivaling an Eidolon 0 5-star. Without new ones, though, free-to-play players are stuck recycling the same old options over and over. And I get it, some of you might say, well, we've had free 5-stars lately, doesn't that make up for it? And that's fair. We did get Ruin May Clone, we got Archer, and there's another free 5-star coming later this year. That's not nothing. But here's the catch. 4-stars serve a different role. They're the diversity units. Even if a lot of them aren't meta-breaking, they fill those niche gaps. Gallagher proved this. He was so effective as a 4-star sustain that people literally skipped pulling limited sustain 5-stars for months. And that might actually be the problem. Some players are convinced that Hoyoverse realized a strong 4-star can directly undercut banner sales, and in a game where every new 5-star has to sell, that's a dangerous business decision. Imagine if every patch added a Gallagher tier unit. A lot of people would stop caring about new limited sustains, and Hoyoverse's sales would take a hit. So maybe that's why we're seeing this drought. It's not that they forgot how to make 4-stars, it's that making them either too weak makes them useless, like Misha or Sway, who never really found their place, and making them too strong makes them a financial problem. And honestly, that lines up with what a lot of the community has been saying. On Reddit, I saw people joke that Hoyoverse just took 4-stars out like Moe's takes himself out of the action order. Others pointed out that with 2 free 5-stars this year alone, plus anniversary rewards, it feels like the devs are deliberately shifting the focus away from 4-stars and into free or accessible 5-stars instead. And here's where things get interesting. Some people don't mind at all. I saw comments like, "Honestly, it's been a year without 4-stars, but we got 2 free 5-stars, so I'll take it." Or, "I don't care about the lack of 4-stars because they're usually underpowered anyway." These players see 4-stars as placeholders, units you bench the second you pull a stronger 5-star, and they're not wrong in a lot of cases. Hanya, Shui, even Moe's himself often get cut out of teams once you get your hands on a top-tier unit like Robin or Fake Xiao. But there's another side of the argument, and I kind of agree with this one more. 4-stars could still be relevant if Hoyoverse leaned into making their Eidolon 6 forms as strong as an Eidolon 0 5-star. Imagine if every 4-star at E6 actually gave you a competitive option instead of just being filler until you pulled something better. That would make the grind of getting constellations worthwhile, and it would keep the roster feeling fresh for everyone, not just the whales. Now, looking ahead, people are starting to wonder if Aurius, the next big region, will finally break this streak. Some are convinced there just won't be any 4 stars there either, pointing out that Hoyoverse seems perfectly content with replacing them using SP characters. March 7th's Hunt form and the upcoming SP Dan Heng show exactly how they can reintroduce diversity into the roster without technically making new 4 stars. It's like they've turned the budget new unit slot into another way to sell banner-limited 5 stars. Still, others are holding out hope. Some players speculate that characters like Reika, who looks way too detailed to just be an NPC, will eventually drop as a 4-star. Others name Amphoreus demigods like Calypso, Gneus, or Polixia as possible candidates, but then again, a lot of those were already locked into NPC roles, so it's far from guaranteed. If anything, we've seen Hoyoverse push more and more characters into the 5-star category instead of leaving them in 4-star territory. When you boil it down, there are a few likely reasons Hoyoverse stopped making new 4 stars. If they're too weak, like Misha or Shui, nobody cares. But if they're too strong, like Gallagher, they end up competing with limited 5 stars and hurting banner sales. On top of that, SP characters like Evernight and new SP Dan Heng already fill that new 4-star role, but in a way that still drives pulls. And it might also just be a business move. People rarely roll just for 4 stars, so maybe Hoyoverse sees them as wasted effort. Or, like we saw in Genshin with Sumeru, they could just be saving a batch for a big drop in 4.0. So where do I stand? Personally, I think 4 stars are too important to just drop completely. Even if we're getting free 5 stars, that's not the same thing. 4 stars give us flexibility, they give us variety, and they make the game more accessible to people who don't want to chase every limited banner. And from a gameplay perspective, it's healthier to have a wide pool of solid 4 stars than to just funnel everyone into the same couple of 5-star meta teams. But what about you guys? Do you think Hoyoverse is done with 4 stars for good? Or do you think Amphoreus or 4.0 will finally give us a new wave of them? Would you rather have a strong E6 4-star you can build for free, or an E0 5-star that everyone gets handed during an event? And do you think Gallagher really scared Hoyoverse away from making new 4 stars by being too good for his own tier? That's the situation as I see it. A whole year without new 4 stars. A community split between indifference and frustration, and a developer strategy that feels like it's leaning harder and harder on free 5 stars and SP characters instead. If this is a permanent shift, it changes how we think about team building in Honkai Star Rail. If it's just a drought before a flood, then maybe 4.0 will surprise us. Either way, I'll keep tracking it. And if you want more breakdowns like this, where we dive into the weird design and business decisions behind the game, make sure to subscribe. Save up to 25% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description.